Welcome to FJ's Trainer School. Unexplored. Collabs. Pokemon has done a lot of merch and collaborations with various brands over the years. And over here in the US, along with other English speaking countries, we have gotten a lot of the same ish things. I'm not going to go into stuff you can just get on PokemonCenter.com nowadays, since that can be pretty easy. And while I can explore a ton of obscure Japanese brand collaborations too, and boy are there a ton, I feel like I wanted to limit it to collaborations that you may or may not have heard of that are in my native language, English, because it's just so many even still. I'm also excluding stuff like Squishmallows, because at this point you likely know what they are, and that Pokemon variants are coming out pretty regularly. So strap in, enjoy, grab a little bit of popcorn or whatever your snack of choice is, and let's go over some English native Pokemon collaborations. Pokemon X literal cars. Yes, I do mean literal cars, vehicles. During the height of Pokemania, there were 10 Pikabugs and 5 Lugia PT Cruisers that Pokemon customized in collaboration with Volkswagen and, whoever the hell makes PT Cruisers. They were made, given away, used, sold as you would expect in celebration of various releases, like Pokemon Red and Blue, the movies, and other promotional ways. Most all of these are accounted for to this day and are very much still a product of their time. Some might even be lost to time as well. They have custom exteriors, Pokemon sound toggles, game consoles and hookups, and so on. But nonetheless, if you see one of these Pokemon vehicles out on the roads in the US, or wherever one may happen to be, there's only a few that are officially registered, so marvel a bit, but probably don't throw Pokeballs at them. Pokemon X Fast Food. This is a two-parter because basically we have the two eras of Pokemon and fast food, toys and kids meals, and getting toys and kids meals and figures and stuff, and toys and kids meals and figures with Pokemon. We're gonna start with the more recent stuff. McDonald's, Mickey D's. Everybody knows McDonald's, and figures and cards first started at McDonald's in Japan in 2002, but over here in the US with Generation 5 in black and white in 2011. I'm honestly surprised it took until Generation 5 for Pokemon to hit Happy Meals with how big Pokemon got in the late 90s and early 00s when the craze swept the world, but more on that in a minute. Nowadays, with the pandemic making the TCG side of Pokemon way more of a craze again, trying to get cards from the past few years at McDonald's is an adult investment more than a kid's meal, unfortunately. Some McDonald's iterations over the years have figures and cards, some only have figures, and some only have cards. Not sure why they went with the back and forth. I assume it's some sort of production thing. Burger King, though, in 1999 and 2000 were the king of the Pokemon toys at the fast food level. Pokeballs with golden slabs. And I think part of the reason McDonald's didn't have stuff early on in the Pokemon craze is because of Burger King. While we were still kiddos and didn't realize that Burger King is kinda not the best fast food wise, it was banging with its entertainment exclusives. I vividly remember the Star Wars Episode 1 toys, as well as obviously the Pokemon ones too. While they had Detective Pikachu stuff in 2019, and in 2000 and even 2001 and 2 I believe, they had fun little Game Boy toys, 3D cards, etc. It was at its peak in 1999. The king went ham with toys and the legendary golden cards and Pokeballs. The toy lineup alone was insane, as the line had launchers and spinners, light-up figures, keychains, beanbags, squirt guns, and even talking figures. This is all in addition to the set of 6 authenticated 23-karat gold-plated cards that were in shiny Pokeballs, which are honestly hella clean looking to this day, and it's still wild to me that these things were only $2 to buy. Inflation, man. Pokemon and Lunchables. When you think Lunchables, you probably don't think Pokemon at all. But I actually had the original whole Lunchables set that I parted with because I felt like it was just sitting in a tub somewhere. Someone else out there might want a little bit more than I did. because people obviously need this stuff to live, so I felt the need to give it up. It was hard to keep these in good shape since I cut them out of the back of a Lunchables box as a kiddo. I remember getting these with my dad, trying to win that sick Game Boy Color, and the absolute nostalgia of making those little pizzas with the 3 pepperonis every few days at lunch. Good times. Pokemon and Monopoly. You want Monopoly? You want Generation 1, right? We got it. You want Generation 1 but with exclusives? We got it. You want Gen 2? We got it. You want the Junior Edition with Pokemon? We got it. You want the original versions of Pokemon Monopoly as well? Don't worry, because there's a 1999 and a 2001 version. We got it. Jesus Christ. Pokemon X Crocs. Crocs went from a shoe that was ridiculed to a shoe in high demand. Comfort is paramount with Crocs, and it's pretty affordable. You're not going to do manual labor in Crocs, but your feet will be feeling good. And Pokemon a few years ago, 2022 I believe, teamed up with Crocs for an official release with 2 pairs, and even Gibbet's charms so that you can deck out your Pokemon Crocs. They're nowhere near as stylish as the Lightning McQueen ones we've come to know and love, but these Pokemon-inspired Crocs are still pretty slick. Pokemon X Santa Cruz skateboards. If this kind of thing with Santa Cruz skateboards came out when I was in my teens and still in my Tony Hawk games of the tits phase, then I'd probably try to get one of these and actually try to learn to skateboard. When you think about Pokemon, you don't think all about skateboard decks. So when this popped into my feed last year, I was fascinated. There is 15 different base decks, skateboard decks if you will, that you can collect with various Pokemon on them. Then they also released 5 other golden variants that you could also get instead of getting just a regular deck in your blind bag. I think it was kind of cool if you're into skateboarding, and they turned buying a skateboard almost into like a TCG-like opening. Pokemon X Van Gogh. This is probably one of the more recent Pokemon collabs that actually got out there to the media. Hopefully it's due to the Van Gogh Pikachu portrait, because that's sick, honestly. But it may also be because Pokemon fans became absolutely awful degenerates at the Van Gogh Museum itself, stampeding the establishment to try and get as much of the merch as possible, because the art itself, exhibit, and history don't matter. It's just all about buying merch. Disgusting. Either way, this collaboration is sick, as it has Van Gogh art reimagined with the likes of Sunflora, Snorlax, and even Corviknight. Just a really, really cool concept. Just don't be like those people in that video, everybody. Just be a normal fan of things. Please. Please. I beg of you. Please. Just be normal.